Have you been wondering what this big tire thing is all about? If you're like me, I've been captured by the idea. So come along with us and check this out. We're going to install, well, we did already, but I'm going to show you how we install these big tires, this thing, replacing that thing, little tires. Stick with us on FlyWire. Hey, I'm Scott Perdue, and today on FlyWire, we're going to talk about installing big tires. These are just the 31s on this Skywagon. We're replacing these 8x6s that are just actually a little bigger than the normal tire that came with the Skywagon when it came off the factory floor. But so we're going to do this. One of the things, I tried big tires on this. They weren't nearly this big. They were 8.5 by 10s before. And I had some problems with it, but in the meantime, I ended up restoring the airplane, and part of that was replacing the gear. The problem I had before was when I put the big tires on, it was perfect for the 8x6s, but then when I put big tires on, the patch was different apparently, and I had a huge problem with toe-in. I didn't think it was a camber issue. It was a big toe-in problem, and it took quite a bit of work to solve that problem. Like I said, I ended up restoring the airplane and virtually completely. So that problem, I hope, went away. So let's see what happens. First thing we got to do is, we got to jack it up. So I've never done this before. But the big thing is you got to get height. So that jack and this jack adapter is fine to get this tire, this is an 8x6, off the ground. So I can change this tire. But I need 17 inches of clearance to get that other tire on here. So I think I'm going to have to do this in a couple of stages because it's just not going to work. So bear with me while I figure this out. All right, that's about bottomed out. It's not enough. I think I need to get at least 6 inches high so I can get it on that platform. I think I'm gonna have to use a floor jack. I don't think this floor jack's going to work. All right, I tried 2 different floor jacks to get it from stage 1 to stage 2. No worky. This one you got to get 5 inches off the ground, and it's not quite 5 inches, just over 3, just at 3. So that's low enough that it'll work, but it doesn't have any tabs to catch the wheel, so it rocked backwards and it was going to fall off the jack. So that was a no-go. Too much fun. So now what I have is, this is what I use to get, for when I weigh airplanes. You roll this up so you can get them on the scales and have the scales sit right here. So that works, and I got a couple of pieces of wood underneath that give it a little bit extra space. So now I'm going to jack, and we'll see how high we can get. All right, we may have to go to a third stage on this. All right. Let's see if we need a third stage. I think that just might work, Ollie. That's 19 inches, and I think I need 17 and a half. So. By way of comparison, we're replacing this with that. That should be a pretty massive change. My block is in the way. Just as a safety measure, I'm going to put this back on. I put the block too close. It was fine for that other tire, but these are the problems with changing a tire. No, it did not.
Wouldn't lift it or just wouldn't hang it?
It rolled off. It doesn't have, mine's got tabs on it, yours doesn't, and it rolled off. That's not good. I barely caught it. Well, what I do is leave one. We'll bring it back with both of them, but then now just take one out and put a bolt in it.
Okay, good. You got that one?
Yeah. You getting thread?
No, I'm not getting any thread. Is there any way to move that hook right there? Maybe. Feels like thread. We got thread. Told you we can do it.
Did you get it?
Yep. I'm going to get it too tight. We got it. Now, you got it in the bottom one?
Okay, hold on. Let me pin it. All right, now go ahead.
You know why I wanted to do that so bad?
Why?
Because I'd be the dummy that has to go up there and pump the brakes.
Well, we got to do it anyway. I don't see any way.
Do you have to do it anyway?
I have to get that from this side to this side. I can't.
Oh, you got to take it off anyway?
Yeah, I'm not going to do that tonight, but I'll do that tomorrow.
All right, well, we got it in there. I still don't see how you get it up. Once you get it that high, then what do you do?
I got to put it on this block. And then put...
With something in the axle and then bring it up the rest of the way?
No, I have to put it on this block.
Okay, you're almost there.
And then I take that off the jack.
Oh, I see. And
and move this big block
step in it,
over.
or step in it.
Yeah, it's a 2-stage. I was hoping it wouldn't be a 3-stage.
How close do you get to that one?
I want to get at least one of these pieces of wood. Not that close. There you go. That was another mistake I made on that one.
Maybe make that.
Big problem here is the interference of the brake line with the tire. You can see the tire actually bulges out a little bit, and the brake line it fits right inside that bulge, and it's riding on the tire. This isn't good, so I'm going to have to reroute that line. I had no choice.
All right, we overcame the brake line issue. The brake lines were routed on top of the gear leg, and that wasn't good for the tire because the tire bulges out quite a bit, and it's, of course, a lot taller than the other tires. So it actually impacted the sidewall of the tire, and that would be, on a good bad scale, that's bad. So I had to reroute them underneath the, reroute the lines underneath the struts of the spring gear. And to do that, I had to go to the local aviation parts store, which we happen to have one. It's owned by Aircraft Spruce on the north side of town. So I could buy AN fittings and 90-degree elbow, so then I could change that routing of the brake line. Okay, so we got that done, bled the brakes. That all worked really well. So now what we're going to do is we're going to do a taxi test, because that's my next concern. There's a little thing. There's a little thing called toe in and camber that we have to do to make sure the gear works right. So camber first. Camber is how the wheels kind of sit out here like this. So lightweight, or it's hanging when you're flying, they're hanging out like this, and you start to put weight on it, or you have a hard landing, then they're going to go up like this. And what you don't want to do is have them splay out like that. So that's one of the reasons. But anyway, you need to have some camber, and we have that. My concern is toe in. Is the front end of the tire, is it too far towed in? Because if it's towed in, they'll try to drive towards each other, and the airplane will hop up, and then it'll kind of be a chicken dance, and it's not very stable that way. So we don't want that to happen. I don't know if it's going to happen or not. The gear was well tuned in for 8x6 tires, but these are a lot bigger. So we're going to do taxi tests. And the cool thing is instead of being in the airplane and taxiing it to see and feel what it's like, I've got the TrackTech robot, so we're going to taxi it around here, and you're going to see it to see whether or not we have a tow problem. So that's the next toe-in problem. That's the next iteration of putting on big tires on the Skywagon. Well, it is splaying a little bit. It is reacting to the toe in, toe out a little bit. So I think the next thing actually to do is get in it and taxi it for real and see how it works. Because it's not crow hopping or anything like that, and I think that we've moved it far enough to tell whether or not it would actually do that. So it's not binding or anything. So it doesn't look that much different than it did before. So let's try it. Let's taxi it. See what happens. So there you have it. Big tire installation on a Skywagon. Every time I look at these things, I got to think of a cartoon. It's that I can't remember. It's like B-17. They puffed up these great big tires so they could land. I don't know. It's kind of funny. They do look a little bit funny. But this was the original tire. It was an 8x6. That was on the airplane, and I replaced it with this Desser 31 11x10. I used a field approval to get this. There isn't an STC, so I had to work on a field approval. Took a while to do, and Willie Stein at Stein Aviation up north was instrumental in doing the data sheet that the FAA wanted to be able to put these on Skywagons. But it matches an Alaska bush wheel 10-inch wheel. That's what this is. And the Desser 31 by 11 by 10. 10 is how wide. 6 is how wide the tire is. So it was pretty good. Actually, I was a little bit worried, like I said at the beginning, about toe in. But it turned out to be a non-issue. Actually, it was a very sweet taxiing airplane. And the landing and takeoff tests, man, they went great. I was really, really surprised. One of the issues with the Skywagon is the spring gear, and this one has titanium gear on it, which is even stiffer than the normal gear, and they changed the thickness of it to try to match what the steel spring gear rate is, displacement rate. But I think it's even stiffer than the steel. Of course, I had old steel ones, so maybe that was just that perception. But with the big tires, it absorbs a lot of that shock, so less of a chance to skip or bounce. And I just done some grass landings. I haven't done any one or two pavement landings, but they say the thing wears like iron. The Alaska bush wheel I didn't want to do because it's way more expensive, and it's made for landing on grass. Man, I live in Texas, and there is some grass, there is some dirt and stuff that you can land on, but mostly it's pavement. I live in an air park with a paved runway, paved taxiways, so I had to have something that wore commensurate with that. They are a bit heavy, so that's a caveat on that. So anyway, I'm real pleased with the way it worked out, and test flight went out really well. Worked out really well. So next we're going to do is some takeoff and landing practice. We're going to see what this whole thing is about. I've heard this story that big tires affect AOA and you're able to take off quicker. Well, I don't know about that. Aerodynamics is aerodynamics. Maybe there's a little technique involved. We're going to explore that next. In the meantime, thanks for watching this video. I appreciate it. And if you really liked it, hit subscribe. And you want to see the notification of the next time, hit the bell. So, thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time on FlyWire.